Mr. Pierce.
Yes, Your Honor. Essentially, what's alleged here is that Miss Francisco was driving by, Mr. Davenport was driving by Miss Francisco's house, just kind of peeping to see if the kids were going okay, something like that. And somehow he ended up getting rammed by Miss Francisco with a vehicle, causing criminal mischief, amongst other charges. Criminal mischief at the class 1 misdemeanor level. I think concerning to the people is that there's already an assault 3 DV case in 25 M66. Looks like you guys are set for jury trial on August 6th, where she assaulted her more recent ex-husband. And there's also a permanent civil restraining order for her more recent ex-husband's new wife. At least that's what I thought I read in this a little bit of a confusing situation. The fact that she has assaulted one ex and now rammed her car into what I think was previously an ex and is now a significant other again, if I'm reading this correctly, that's concerning to the people. There seems to be some violence going on here. So I think that a cash surety bond is appropriate. I do understand the victim's position. As far as a protection order, I think I'll defer to the court. I would ordinarily ask for a no contact protection order here, but it seems like there's some kids that probably need some mutual assistance from the two parents to be supervised. Although certainly being supervised with car accidents going on in this manner maybe isn't the greatest thing either. But I think cash surety bond is appropriate given the already pending assault 3 DV case, this new DV case, and just the overall circumstances that seem to be going on.
Okay, thank you. Stop.
Yes, Judge, we're going to ask for a PR bond. We're also going to ask for non-harassing contact with Mr. Davenport. I'd kind of echo what he said and the fact that they do share children. I think Mr. Davenport is actually the more recent partner. The children that she shares with him are at least 6, 2, and 1. And they help take care of them together. My understanding is that Miss Francisco, was living in the residence with her 5 children. So the 3 she shares with Mr. Davenport and then 2 other older teenage daughters. Mr. Davenport had been on and off staying there, but not as a permanent resident. She indicated that he didn't necessarily have a key to the home, key to the residence, and she does need to be home with her children. She is not working at the moment. So normally in the winter time, fall, winter, she works at the bridge shelter. She does the intake, front desk, help make sure everything's going okay. She normally gets a part-time job in the summer, but this summer she did not. She's been dealing with some health issues. She has spinal stenosis, some issue with the discs in her neck, and has been working on trying to figure out disability with that. She actually has a doctor's appointment tomorrow at Mercy Medical Hospital in Durango at 1 p.m. for that issue. She also is not working, not just for the disability, but to help take care of her daughters during the summertime. Right now, there's no parenting plan or court case regarding custody between Mr. Davenport and Miss Francisco. I know that the affidavit advised that they might want to do that, but there isn't. So we are asking for non-harassing contact, or at the very least, some sort of electronic contact, some sort of way for them to discuss the care of their children. She has lived here in Cortez since November. She previously lived here between 2021 and 2023, lived in Albuquerque in the between those two, but moved back here after having a pretty traumatic birth and C-section with her 4th child and was struggling to pay bills. She has good support from her boss, Christina. She's dealing with other medical issues like high blood pressure, and she doesn't have any money right now that she can use to post a bond because she's not working. She indicated she had gotten her income taxes back, but that may have been taken from her. Kind of unclear situation that she doesn't have those funds. She's willing to file a firearm affidavit. I know this was charged as DV. She filed it in her prior case. She's definitely willing to file it in this one. I don't have knowledge of the other case, just noting it's a different person. I don't believe the driving situation in that case, totally different. And I would note she already has a public defender application and has been working with Jake Hutcherson. We are going to use that same application to file into this one. So she will have representation here. But the two driving charges are reckless driving. They're both class 2 traffic infractions. The highest penalty for that is 90 days in jail. She is charged with class 1 misdemeanor criminal mischief, but I didn't see anything in the affidavit related to the actual amount of damages. So there is a lack of PC for that level of criminal mischief. Based on that and the lack of amount, it should be a petty offense, not a class 1 misdemeanor. And so therefore she would otherwise be entitled to a PR bond because of the level of charges. So we're going to ask for a PR bond. We're asking for non-harassing contact, or at the very least, some sort of carve out to allow them to communicate regarding their children.
Okay, thank you.
And then also, with the case that I'm pending.
Miss Francis, please do not say anything to the judge right now. Anything you say to him is on the record. And
That's fine. It's just, I'm just saying, like, that wasn't my ex. It's the situation with my dad, the last incident.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to clear up.
Okay, thank you. But yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Well, certainly domestic violence is something that the court takes very seriously. And what's alleged in this case is not domestic violence in the sense of actual physical strikes, but strikes to the person, I should say. But there is an allegation of a car, Miss Francisco's car, ramming the victim's car in this case. As I think about this and try to think about how to kind of contextualize this in the overall picture of domestic violence, and certainly strikes to the body are going to be probably more dangerous, but certainly ramming vehicles creates dangers as well. I would note that the affidavit does not indicate these vehicles were moving, as I understand it. It sounds like this all happened while the vehicles were stopped. Either way, it's a significant situation, and when we have vehicles driven by one domestic partner ramming a vehicle driven by the other domestic partner, that is significant and serious and something that needs to be taken seriously. Certainly understand that there's children involved in this case, and I understand that the difficulties that a no contact protection order puts on parents as they work together to raise children. On the flip side of that, in situations where there's significant domestic violence, that creates dangers to the children. And first and foremost, those things need to be addressed. And the way to address that is through a protection order. So I'm going to issue a no contact protection order that prohibits the Miss Francisco from having any contact with the victim, in this case, Mr. Davenport. I will allow the parties to communicate via the Talking Parents app regarding matters involving just the children. So Miss Francisco and Mr. Davenport, you guys can communicate via the Talking Parents app. That's something you can download on your phones and communicate about the children. Okay. That is the extent of the communication. That's all that's going to be allowed at this point. And then Miss Francisco, you're going to need to stay 100 yards away from Mr. Davenport or from Mr. Davenport's residence.
My residence is her residence.
So at this point, you're going to have to stay 100 yards away from that residence. Okay. I will authorize a one-time civil standby for you to go and get any necessary belongings. You can set that up with law enforcement and they can accompany you and get those necessities that you need.
He stays in a safe house shelter. Like, this is my home that I've been at. So I don't understand why I'm having to leave my home.
Well, that's the way a protection order works, ma'am. And so at this point, that's the order of the court. Okay. Mr. Davenport, I'm going to ask that you not interrupt me. And if you continue to interrupt me, I'm going to ask you to step out.
And Judge, I think if he confirms on the record here that he's leaving the home, may she go to that residence? I just want to make sure that.
I'll leave the home. She don't have to leave her home.
Mr. Pierce, any issue with that?
If he's representing that she can go stay at the home and he has somewhere else to go,
Okay.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
If she's going to be mainly the one providing for the children, I
Okay.
think that makes sense.
So in that case, I'm not going to put the home on the protection order, but Miss Davenport or Miss Francisco, you have to stay 100 yards from Mr. Davenport at all times. That includes if he comes to the home. It's your responsibility to leave the home if he's there. You're the restrained party. So it's up to you to maintain that distance. Okay. As to bond in this case, as the court indicated, this was a significant domestic violence situation. There are also allegations that apparently there were other individuals in another vehicle that were throwing things and hitting Mr. Davenport's vehicle. I don't know whether Ms. Francisco was connected to them or not. I don't think that the affidavit really provides a whole lot in that regard. But all in all, this was a significant situation. I think this is a public safety issue, and I'm going to set bond at $3,000 cash surety. And then we'll get this set over.
She is set on her other matter for a pretrial readiness conference on 7/29 at 3 p.m. if the court wants to set this.
Let's set it at the same time. We'll set a
Okay.
pretrial conference at 3:00 in the afternoon on July 29th.
I have one more question, Your Honor.
Yeah, sure.
We have our 1-year-old daughter that was with her when she got picked up on her warrant. And I have all the other girls staying with me. And I haven't seen my daughter since yesterday. I called the courts and seen if the restraining order was off, and they said that it was discontinued, that there was no more restraining order, that we could continue being co-parents try to be civil and be parents to our kid. And I didn't know that she even had a warrant. I even asked the court if she had a warrant. They said that she didn't have no warrant.
Okay.
So anyway, she got picked up on her warrant, and my 1-year-old's still not with us. I have the 2-year-old and I have the 6-year-old, but I have no idea where the 1-year-old's at.
Well,
And
so
she is safe. I've
so I-
already talked to
so I don't know, guys. That's something that you're going to have to work out. I can't work that out for you in this context, in this court. I mean, a couple things you can do if you're concerned about your child's safety is you can call the local law enforcement. The other thing you can do is you can call child protection and make a
Child
report.
Protection is the one
So-
that they granted them to me.
Well, so Mr. Davenport, I don't know. I don't know what all's going on with your custody case. I'm not in a position where I can address that today. I'm just addressing bond in this case. And so I'm sorry, I can't help you, but you're gonna have to go through law enforcement and child protection to address any issues that you have. Okay. I'll also order that Ms. Francisco fill out an affidavit acknowledging relinquishment of firearms in this case. Then I'll also issue the standard Title 18 protection order that prohibits Ms. Francisco from harassing or intimidating any alleged witness or victim of this crime. Anything else at this point?
No, Your Honor.
Is there any way I could get the bond lowered to afford it? Because I only have $100. I could
so
afford $1,000 cash at surety,
So at this point, the bond's going to remain as set. Okay.
I do have one other question about the protection order, Judge, and I understand the talking parents. If they have to exchange custody of the children, can there be a carve out for doing that in a public location?
Let's do any exchanges of the children at the Pinion Project.
At the Pinion Project? Okay.
Yep. And the way that the Pinion Project will work that is the parties still don't have to be within the 100 yards of each other.
Okay.
So if you guys need to exchange the kids, call the Pinion Project, set up a time. The parent with the kids will take the kids there, leave them at the Pinion Project, leave. Then the other parent will come, get the kids, and go. Okay. Okay. Anything else?
That's all for today, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of your day.